Hello, my friends. Welcome back. I am your local art witch, and today we are going to be talking about New Year plans and how to actually achieve them. I try to be a planner, and this, 2022, nothing really seemed to go the way I had hoped. I did not achieve what I had hoped to achieve. So, my goal for this year is to live more intentionally, to get like a better understanding of my land. Part of this is a situation that I've been working on for a while. I was studying the local plants and stuff, but the wheel of the year, that was originally created, with Yule and Imbolc and Samhain. The way that it was set up more for, as I understand it, like England, Europe area. So it doesn't work for me where I'm at. So, what I wanted to do this year was to build, here it is, to build a year that makes sense for me and where I'm at in my land. So, here it is, like sort of more traditionally. And so Ostera in bulk, they say that you're supposed to be getting your plants ready. Even in March, we could plant inside where I'm at, but you wouldn't want to put anything outside until like May. And even then, you might be pushing it a little bit because we usually get a big snowstorm in March, so you definitely couldn't do it then. Yeah. So the way I'm going to achieve this is a few different ways. I'm going to be keeping this planner. I got this at Staples. It's got these little things. What is it called? High Note. So it's a 17-month planner. I can put, my contacts here. It has the holidays. But what is interesting here for me is going into these next months, I can better plan everything I'm doing. And up here, I'm really into astrology. I like it a lot. So what I've done is put the moon sign where the moon is going to be on each one. So, today is, what is today? I think it's the 3rd. So, it's in Gemini. So just keeping track of where the moon is, what it's doing. And I'm going to be taking notes basically on how I'm feeling. And something else that's going to be helping me with this is I bought this planner off of Magic of Eye. No, I'm not sponsored, just in case somebody's watching this video, 5 years from now. It came in a little thin black bag, but it had this on it. I just put this back on it just for this video. So it says a full cosmic guide to the entire year. I was not expecting this to be as in-depth as it was. So look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So here's the monthly calendar. I feel like we need to be a little bit brighter. There. So, here's the calendar. We're going to just zoom in there. So, let's look at January 4th. we see that the moon is in Gemini, and then it tells us the major aspects of this day. So the sun is trining Uranus, it's squaring Chiron, and then this VC means that the moon is void, of course, so it's not making any aspects until sometime on the 5th. Now you'll see these little pale notes here. So it says goals, love it up, and diamond mind. When you see the little gray letters, you can come back here and kind of just see what the energies of the day are. And it has both the positive and the negative. It has, now this is cool, general days, and it has our holidays too. So we can see we've got some years here. It does make a note of time zones. Now there's a moon planting guide, which is pretty cool. I would bet, I suspect, I think that this might line up with the Farmer's Almanac. It would be really interesting. So it tells you what are best times to plant things. I don't have a very green thumb, so it's a little beyond me, that part. We've got the planetary movements here. And so that's really cool and helpful for me because I like to, there we go. I like to keep track of what the planets are doing, and that's something I wanted to keep more track of this coming year. So here's the moon phases and how this is the main thing I want to concentrate on this year. I want to time/schedule my life to go with the phases of the moon. So gratitude and acceptance, acknowledge abundance, give back and let go, surrender, recharge and restore, new beginnings, planting seeds. I also plan my cleaning and whatnot according to the moon phases. And for me, it's just sometimes things get so big and so overwhelming, and I feel like I need to do it all at once. Putting it on a timetable like this, for me personally, is helpful. Just getting in tandem with the cycles of the universe. So this is some of the coolest pages that they have. It's all the moon phases. So not only do we see the moons going through their phases, and it continues on to the next page, it shows us what sign the moon is in. It's got all this information about fungi, and I have not read it because it's pretty dense and I'm excited. But so it's astromycology, so medicinal mushrooms, zodiac signs, and planets. So I'm really excited to learn more about this. It's got these great images. And the way that they're drawn, I feel like if I saw them, I would, like out in nature, that I would actually know what they were. Like in some, there was an herbology or something, a botany deck that I wanted, because I wanted a simple image of the plant that I would be able to recognize, their associations, what it's used for, and I could ideally take this deck out with me when I'm out in the field and just kind of have like a handy, set to reference, and that just does not seem to exist. We've got our exact aspects for all the year. So we've got our new and full moon dates here, and where, what sign it's going to be in, and the exact time. It does have it as PST and PDT, So I'll have to double check to see what time zone it's going to be for me, or what time it will be for me, because that's not my time zone. We've also got retrograde and direct dates. So Mercury retrograde the 29th of December, and then it goes direct the 18th of January. We've got these areas of like intentions. This is how I kind of planned and broke down exactly what it was that I wanted to achieve this year. And what I found helpful is it broke down into these 8 different areas of life. So spiritual, mental, work / career, love, family, love, so family relationships, wealth, social, physical, and inspiration. And so I wrote down all of my goals like in a separate notebook to just brainstorm. What are things that I want this year? What do I want to focus on? And with the exception of wealth, I mean, we all want more money, but it's more just for making sure that there's food on the table and a roof over your head, right? At least for us. So wealth isn't like a top goal, but it is like, enough to keep you comfortable. So I want to expand more into my spiritual practices, including it more in mundane times. Lately, especially toward the end of this year, I was kind of getting lost in the sauce, So the way I want to do this. So when I write a goal, when I say I want to expand my spiritual practices, like that's what I would like. But how am I going to achieve that? What is something I can measure that would get me closer to that goal? So I want one main thing that I really want to work on is giving thanks before a meal. A whole bunch of people had to come together, not just me and my husband making money, but the people who picked the potatoes, and we're not vegetarians, so the sacrifice potentially, like not every meal has meat in it, but the potential sacrifice of another living creature so our bellies could be full. And then, the actual work itself of cooking the food, and just like there's so much involved and so many people in one meal that I just want to take a moment to be mindful and grateful of everything that had to come together just so me and my family could eat. I want to get more into my ancestor work. I want to use my tarot and oracle more. This year was not ideal, so I want to get more into a daily practice. And so I got a little thing where I can display the card of the day. So I have not done well with that, but what I'm going to do is to put a reminder on my phone so that way it can't slip my mind in the future, and to figure out the seasonal wheel for my area. The way I'm going to figure out the seasonal wheel of my area is to keep a weather journal, which I have started, and I will show y'all. So I just want to continue reading and studying magic. And I downloaded some books. So it's just stuff like that. Wealth is the only place, like, I don't really know how to state that as a goal. I am a personal support worker, and I work in homes, and I only have the one client right now. But he's an older gentleman, and I feel weird making a whole year goal, because he's in his late 90s. I feel weird making a whole year goal when I can't guarantee that this time next year that he'll still be with me, So social, physical. Physical was also really low on my list because right now I don't really have the spoons for it. So we have January at a glance here. It gives us a monthly theme. So things to reflect on, what the full and new moon, like the general mood of it's going to be. These beginning of the month illustrations are just fantastic. Important astrological transits. This calendar, like it's just, they did so good. And so I'm trying to get better at making some notes. It also came with like this little handout, so I have a very quick reference guide to the moon. I was really bad this year with last year, doing things like the full moon and the new moon always every month was catching me by surprise. And 9 times out of 10, I would be working on the nights that these moons were doing things. So I wasn't able, what I wanted to do was to make more moon water, both, full and new moon water. I wanted to just sit and focus and all that other fun stuff. Now, so each month does have like a, your goals, your intentions, how you're going to break it down by week. So it does have a little area for notes here in the back. So this is the little planner I'm going to be using. And I started my weather journal. There's going to be some sort of drawing here. This page kind of sticks, so I have no idea what to do with that. I'm going to put this illustration here once I finish it. And I'm illustrating this. So what it's going to be is I'm going to have the month, a little tiny calendar here. I'm going to be putting my references down here. So like the websites that I'm using. And then, so these are the dates, the weather that day. And so like I want the temperature, the humidity. I'm going to start taking into account the pressure because I find it feels like some days the sky or whatever is just so heavy and intense and I get a migraine. And so I want to see if this number actually has anything to do with the pain that I'm in. I'm also tracking, so this is the astrology sign for the sun. So it rose at 8 a.m. and set at 4:51. The moon is kind of backwards. It set that morning at 3:01 and then in the morning, and then it set at 1:16 in the afternoon. I've got what sign it's in and how full it is. So I put waxing here because I haven't decided how I'm going to illustrate the moon. So this is going to be my weather journal. And I remembered that I used to keep bullet journals pretty religiously back in the day. And I'm so excited because I can go back and compare notes from this year to the other two that I have and try to pick out what is common. Because for me, if I remember right, Beltane is spring. Just a second. This is Easter. Now, spring begins here in February, apparently, for Imbolc. That is not true here on, where am I? The east coast of Canada. So I would say I would count spring as way over here in May. Now, it has been an unseasonably warm year so far. Like even October and November, it was really warm. We were getting a lot of updrafts of the storms from Florida. So it was making it we were getting the tropical storm leftovers from Florida. So it's been it's never just 4, this is in Celsius, but just 4 degrees. That's insane. That is insanely hot for January. So, oh yes. So this image that I'm drawing and this image that I started, I did get these off of Instagram. I saw them and I really love them. If you guys have seen any bullet journal work, it goes, hello, January, and then there's some sort of image, and then you get into the month. And so that's where I was going with it. But then I wanted this little calendar situation. And for me, January is still, you're sitting inside, you're doing internal work. You know, it's still, for me, especially where I work with the elderly, it's a danger month. So hence, you know, a bit more of the dark symbology here. And then I counted out the days here. So when I got to what's going to be February, I realized that unless I wanted to waste all that paper, I couldn't have like a separate image necessarily for February. I might put it in the back. I think what I want to do is put some notes up on the side about January or about the particular month. So, you know, January was named from the Roman god Janus. He was a protector of gates and doorways, which is symbolizing beginnings and endings. Apparently he had kind of two faces, one facing this way, one facing the opposite way, looking in the past, looking toward the future. And I think that's perfect for January. So in short, I'm going to be keeping track of my life in this book and in this book and in this book using my apps on my phone as reminders. And that's how I'm going to try to keep track of my stuff. And another reason why I wanted to make this video is that it's going, now that I've put it out there into the ether, I need to, you know, follow through because it would be embarrassing if I did not. So that's how I'm planning for my year. Let me know what everybody else's intentions are. What are you hoping to accomplish this year? How are you going to go about accomplishing it? And I'll see you all again next time. Happy New Year. Thanks again. Bye-bye for now.